Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Gabrielle. I have a personal message to share with you today, and I hope it's going to help some of you out there. Now, you may be already familiar with me on social media through my spiritual guidance posts, readings, and what have you, and if not, hello and welcome. I wanted to share a personal experience with you that I had this week, and I did actually post something earlier today, and I was sitting on the beach feeling rather reflective. And I realised there's a lot more to that story. I had a little bit of a scare. A couple of weeks ago, I received a notice in the mail, as many women do, to go and have a breast screening done, a mammogram, just a usual routine checkup. I didn't have any reason to do it other than it was a tick box for me to do. And I was told 2 weeks later, if there was any reason to, I'd be contacted for further testing. Well, this past week I got that phone call, and I have to say it took me by surprise. These days my health is relatively good, but it didn't used to be. So anyway, fast forwarding, I ended up the next day in the hospital to have further tests, ultrasound, and ultimately a biopsy done of my breast for getting some tissue out of a cyst to make sure or to check was it cancerous or not. And the whole experience was quite unnerving. I did have a very good experience with Breastscreen Queensland. They were very professional, and I was so grateful for the intervention, for the information, and for their care that they showed me. And they did say I'd have to wait several days before I'd get any results, and so I went home feeling really quite unnerved and a little unsettled because my own mother had experienced breast cancer in her life, and she had a mastectomy, and of course all of these thoughts were going around in my head and thinking about what is the potential outcome here? How am I going to deal with this? I did feel relatively calm, but nevertheless I still managed to have some sleepless nights. And then on Friday, I was at the gym and just doing a little bit of leg work. I had to minimise what I was doing, and I received a text message, and the text message said that the results had come back and the cyst was benign. I was so relieved. I followed that with a phone call to the doctor to get further information and was told that all was fine and I didn't need to come back for another 2 years for a check. I have to say, for the next hour that followed, I really did feel like crying from relief as well as gratitude. Now, whilst I have a good, healthy respect for my well-being today, and this certainly did get me to a place of reflection about my body and my well-being, I had to take a moment to think about my own personal journey. There was a time in my life where I did not listen to my body. It probably was out of ignorance and out of a lot of patterns of behaviour that perhaps didn't serve me very well. There was a time in my life I worked in corporate, I had a growing family. I was like probably many typical young mothers where I gave out a lot of my energy to everyone. I was in a place in my life where I was stressing myself out by working long hours, taking care of family, being very mindful that I had to please a lot of people, keep up appearances, do what was needed. And that experience meant that I was not loving who I needed to be. And I was making everyone else and everything else more important than my own well-being. And so I suffered. I had a lot of internal stress and internal conflict, which I tried to shove down. And, quite often we can put on the smiling face and say, I've got my shit together. But I was suffering underneath and I wasn't happy. I was putting on weight. I didn't feel like I was in a good place. And I know that when we don't listen to ourselves, that little inner monster grows with time. And I saw that in myself, and I had to go on a journey to learn how to listen to me. And I just wanted to say that the experience that I had this week was a scary one. It was a reminder to be self-aware, to look after my body. And I just wanted to share my experience with all of you this week. Don't deny yourself the right to have good health and well-being. That includes your mental well-being, your emotional state and well-being, and your physical well-being. Please make that a priority in your life, because you deserve to be the best version of yourself. When we are willing to undergo so much stress, and I'm talking about just the pace of life, doing the do that everybody else expects, being the superwoman or the superman in our life, and yet we know underneath we're not coping, we're exhausted, we have constant brain fog, we're unable to bring the best of us to each day because we're just simply exhausted. If you are so aware, you can make the change, and if not, I hope this message today helps you to become aware. It triggers something inside of you to be aware. It is so important, because when we ignore our health and well-being, what happens is that we create a very toxic internal ecosystem. And stress, anxiety, living at a fast pace, pumping that adrenaline, pours a lot of cortisol in our body and creates a very inflamed environment, which is, of course, a breeding ground for illness to occur. And, of course, we're not going to be thinking clearly in our life, therefore not making good decisions or choices. We can get off track in our life very easily and feeling that sense of lack of fulfillment and satisfaction because we're giving to everything and everyone else and not truly understanding ourselves. And of course, we can be prone to so many other things like accidents and mishaps in our life, poor relationships, all of those things. And these things happened to me because I was not listening and honouring my health and well-being. My relationship at the time suffered, and certainly my health suffered. And I had to go through many years to recuperate from that. And I just want to sort of really put this message out to all of you. Don't wait until you have an accident or you get sick before you're willing to listen to your body and listen to your inner guidance to take care of you. It is so, so important. Time is precious, and let's not waste it attending to the agendas of everybody else, ignoring the pressures in our life until it builds up and we explode, which could be, quite an awful thing to happen. It may mean that a relationship falls apart, or it may mean that you lose a job, or you don't take care of your finances, or you're unable to be there for your partner or your family or your children. If there's something niggling within you and you just know that you haven't given it due attention, now is the time. If it is a physical thing in your body, don't ignore the signs. Your body's always going to tell you when something is out of balance. And the most important thing is that we hear, feel, see that sign, and we do something straight away about it. Because, my friend, you do matter, and without your health, you are no good to anybody. You're not going to be the best version of yourself. I had to go through this and probably spent a decade of my life recovering from that. And I certainly wouldn't want you to waste 10 years of your life doing the same when today you can make a choice for your health and well-being. Now, for some of you, it may be that you recognise you need a little bit of guidance in your life to go to the next steps because you're having trouble getting that clarity. Or it might mean that you need to sort of really learn how to manage your mind, manage your thinking, so that you can perform better in your life. if you know that's something that's going to help you, you'd like to have some assistance, I'll leave some information in the description box below. But this was more about sharing with you today my own personal experience, which did shake me up. And I am grateful that I got a good outcome. I know that's not the case for everybody. So I do want to urge you to act quickly. Know that you're important, you're worthy. This is an act of love for you. And of course, if you follow my social media, you'll know that this past week, the readings were really all about self-love and how we honour ourselves, listen to our inner guidance. And it's time that we do that for ourselves. It's time to truly honour our personal boundaries, learn to say no when we've had enough, give ourselves a rest when we need it, and that's the very simple things that we can do to honour who we are and to love ourselves. Even the basics in life of hydrating and resting and sleeping and choosing wisely the activities that you do in your life and the lifestyle that you have. My previous days of running to everybody else's timetable just made me a wreck. And I know that if you are experiencing so much overwhelm, being overworked, feeling the stress every day that you can't sort of get your head above the water, then that's a big warning sign for you to time out and do a reassessment on your life and to stop now, because you don't want this to manifest into a bigger problem in your life. I'm very fortunate that I had this challenge this week, and I feel that it was to bring this awareness so that I could share that with all of you. I'm very fortunate that I've made significant changes in my life on purpose so that I could have better health, and I wish that for you too, my friends. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that it is a little reminder for all of you out there. I know we've all got different circumstances, but to prioritise your health and well-being is so essential. And I really hope that you will do that for yourselves as well. If you're needing a little assistance, I have a book that I wrote many years ago after my own personal journey. I had to go through some significant change, and what came out of that was this book of how to live from a place of wellness, how to love ourselves, and so certainly you can purchase that for your own reading and meditation, or you can reach out to me, or I'll leave some other details below in case that is of assistance to you. And of course, if you are needing professional advice, please seek that as well. There are many ways that we can get assistance in our life to make some significant changes. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week. Honour you because you matter. Lots of love. Bye.